And welcome back to the Big Doctor Who Poll! I am Joshua Snares, and today we'll be counting down the stories you love and love to hate.
The results of this countdown is sourced by you, the audience, and it is not too late to cast your vote for future episodes, and you can find the link in the description below.
Today, we'll be showcasing the second Doctor, played by Patrick Troughton. The space pirates are after the mineral Argonite, and the Doctor and friends stumble upon their plot. Sadly, a part of the recording was damaged, and a few scenes had to be reshot, and these reshoots were directed by John Wood, the special effects designer. The Dominators and their quarks intend to start a war with a peaceful race, so they can use their power to fuel their spaceships. After arguments between the writers and the BBC over the rights of the quarks, they tried to pull the Dominators from broadcast. Eventually, a deal was reached, and the serial was broadcast. They never worked for Doctor Who again. The Doctor and friends discover the lost city of Atlantis, and meet a mad scientist who plans on draining the entire ocean. This serial had a few different names: Under the Sea, The Fish People, and Atlanta, until it finally became The Underwater Menace. The Krotons are taking innocent people and telling them that they will become companions of the Krotons, when in reality, the Krotons are draining their mental energy until they die. When Robert Holmes, the writer, was sorting through his old files, he stumbled across the storyline The Trap, which eventually was commissioned to become The Space Trap, and finally, The Krotons. Landing in Scotland in 1746, the Doctor gets involved with the Battle of Culloden. This serial is famous for introducing the companion Jamie McCrimmon, but originally he wasn't to be a series regular. It wasn't until after location filming that Fraser signed a contract to stay on, so the final scene where they leave in the TARDIS had to be reshot to include Jamie coming along also. Upon a wheel in space, crew members and equipment are disappearing, and the answer is obvious when a cyber ship approaches. Originally, the concept of this serial was to have the Cybermen versus the Daleks, yet Terry Nation denied the request to use the Daleks. Encased in a block of ice stands a being from another world, known only as an Ice Warrior. The Ice Warriors were originally going to be similar to a robotic Viking, but the costume designer decided to make them reptilian. Back on Earth in 1966, the TARDIS lands at Gatwick Airport, and the Doctor discovers that people are disappearing. This serial was the last to work with Shawcraft models, due to the props recently malfunctioning in recent serials. The world's transportation system, TMAT, has been taken over by the Ice Warriors. The character of Eldred states that they were the first to land on the moon, but the line was removed due to the production guessing that America would land on the moon in the near future, which they did. In Tibet, the monks are being overrun with Yeti, but a more powerful force lies within the monastery. Originally, Padmasambhava's head was to melt away, but after filming the sequence, it was decided to be too graphic, and it was cut. The TARDIS team land at a seemingly utopic society, where they discover the colony is being ran by a malevolent force. Originally, the Macra to be the Insect Men, but Jerry Davis felt that they may resemble the Zarbi too much, and were decided to be modelled after crabs instead. The Doctor encounters the Cybermen again, but this time on the moon. After filming episodes 1 to 3 at Riverside Studios, Doctor Who was slated to return to the tiny Studio D at Lime Grove. The infamous studio issues kicked in straight away when they realised the audio picked up voices from the floor manager's headphones. Since re-recording wasn't really an option, it had to be edited out in post-production. Sentient seaweed, which thrives on natural gas, is planning on taking over humanity. Originally, this serial was called The Colony of Devils, but was later renamed to Fury from the Deep to avoid potential controversy with the word devils. The TARDIS transports the travellers into another dimension, the land of fiction. During the production, Fraser Hines got chickenpox and couldn't record episode 2. Luckily, since the scripts were more fantasy in tone, they replaced him with another actor, and they explained the reason he looked different was because the Doctor put Jamie's face back together incorrectly. The Doctor finds his evil doppelganger, who plans on taking over the world in the space year 2018. This serial was the last story overseen by Sydney Newman as head of drama, who contributed massively to the origins of Doctor Who. The Daleks are trying to figure out the human factor so they can finally crush them once and for all. During the making of this production, the future of Doctor Who was uncertain, with the head of serials, Sean Sutton, proposing a show to completely replace it. Thankfully, Doctor Who kept going. Returning to modern-day London, the TARDIS team discover the Yeti have taken over the London Underground. 3 days after the broadcast of episode 1 of The Abominable Snowman, the writers were commissioned to write a sequel, which eventually became The Web of Fear. Tobias Vaughan plans on taking over Earth with the help of the Cybermen. During the production of this serial, Patrick Troughton decided that this season was to be his last, and asked Fraser Hines to stay on a bit longer so they could leave at the same time. The Doctor has changed his face, and his greatest enemy is acting friendly. Can the colonists really trust the Daleks? Original ideas for this new incarnation included the renewal process happening every 5 centuries, and that the Troughton Doctor remarking that this wasn't the first time he's regenerated, and referred to an earring and a bracelet that belonged to previous incarnations, before William Hartnell. On the planet Telos, a team of archaeologists are uncovering the tomb of the Cybermen. But are the Cybermen really extinct? The role of Kaftan was written for Shirley Cooklin, who was the wife of Peter Bryant, who was the producer at the time. Fraser Hines, who played Jamie, embarrassed himself when he flirted with her, not realising she was married to his boss. The Doctor meets a person from his home planet. Is this the end of the Doctor's wanderings? After playing the iconic role, Troughton went on to a successful career in many films, television shows, and more. Don't forget to enter the poll below to add your vote to this series. Don't forget to subscribe to the official Josh Nair's YouTube channel.